Hello everyone, we continue with Chapter 6, Part 2. Sometime after that incident, we moved again to the Kaneko mansion in Nagareyama. Kondou had become reluctant to go into battle, but after several talks with Hijikata, he was eventually convinced otherwise. Until we'd finished our preparations for our journey to Aizu, we would be training in Nagareyama. I was told Saito was off in some place called Ichikawa, where he would be training in the use of new, modern armament. Sanan and Heisuke had left with the Fury Corps along the Utsunomiya route to Aizu, since they couldn't go to the Kaneko mansion. Ever since we'd arrived, Kondou had seemed like an entirely different person, listless and without any kind of drive. His days were spent in his room reading books or on the porch staring at flowers. It was easy to see that he was depressed about his loss at Kofu. Eventually he would get over it and go back to his normal, cheerful self. Or at least that was what we all hoped. "Kondou, I've brought you some tea." I set down the tea and snacks I'd brought on his reading table. "Oh, thank you." He paused in the act of flipping a page to smile up at me. "What are you reading?" I'm reading the Romance of the Three Kingdoms and the biography of Kiyomasa, military history, basically." Please do read the description here for Romance of the Three Kingdoms. There's quite a cheeky and funny comment there. Inexplicably popular in Japan. "I practically know them by heart by now, but every time I read them I find something new to be fascinated by. When I was young, I wanted to be just like Kansei Teikun, a legendary warrior. I wanted to fight for someone other than myself." His grin made his face look like that of a little boy, but after a moment the grin faded. "But I guess dreaming about being a great commander doesn't make you one. I wish I'd realized that a little earlier." He shut the book softly and set it down on the top of his desk. "What are you talking about? You've only just begun." But he didn't even seem to hear me. "How's Toshi?" "I think he's up in his room writing something. Probably orders for Saito. He's off in Ichikawa right now, you know." Kondou's head sagged toward his chest. "Oh, I keep giving Toshi so much to do." "I don't think he's pushing himself too hard. And nothing makes him happier than being able to help you out. That's just the kind of guy he is." Kondou laughed. "You've really turned out to be quite an asset to him, haven't you? I think you know him quite well by now." You think so?" He seemed quite serious about it, and I felt my cheeks getting warm. "That's right. Back when I first got here, I was supposed to be his page or something." "Ah, yes. I never thought you'd be here for so long, to be honest." Before I knew it, we were reminiscing about the time we'd spent in Kyoto. Back then, we never could have guessed that the Satsuma Choshu alliance would take control of the imperial court. Okita had been healthy, Inoue and Yamazaki had still been alive, and Nagakura and Harada hadn't left. Every day was fun and exciting. But I know things will work out. Hijikata will get us through this. He responded with a melancholy laugh. Don't you think you are asking quite a bit of him, Yukimura?
What do you mean?
Before he could answer, the door slid open with a snap, and Hijikata and Shimada ran in, their faces tense and drawn.
Hijikata, what's happened?
We gotta go now. The mansion's surrounded, said Hijikata. He was out of breath. They must have been running.
What?
There's 200 or maybe 300 of them out there, said Shimada. We came in through the back so they wouldn't spot us. If there were only 20 or 30 of them, then maybe we could take 'em, said Hijikata. He worked his lip and glanced out the window, frustrated and tense. Don't even have time to call back Saito and his men. Guess we'll have to come up with something here. Shimada, Chizuru, you two take Kondou and go on ahead, said Hijikata.
What? Hijikata, not even you can take on that many people, and it's daytime out there.
I won't know till I try, said Hijikata. Hijikata, the soldiers out there are all riflemen, said Shimada. Both Shimada and I moved toward the door in an effort to physically stop Hijikata if it came to that. Kondou had stayed silent and contemplative since Hijikata and Shimada had entered, but now he finally spoke. Wait, Toshi, you don't have to do that. I'll go have them take me to their headquarters. Hijikata's expression cycled quickly from shock to disbelief to anger. What the hell? You might as well just point a target on your chest. I wouldn't introduce myself as Kondou of the Shinsengumi, of course, said Isami Kondou. I'll just tell them we're Hatamoto and we're here to secure this location. That ought to make them think about it for a bit. At any rate, it should buy enough time for you guys to get away. Shimada and I were both shocked into silence, but not Hijikata. Listen to yourself. You really think they'll let you just waltz in and F with them like that? You saw how they work back in Kyoto. There's no way in hell those bastards don't hate our guts. They won't believe that crap about us being Hatamoto for a second. Well, even if I do get captured, said Kondou, I have the status of they can't just kill me. And that refers to a daimyo, a powerful samurai who ruled a fiefdom and commanded vassals of his own. They served the shogun directly. You've got to be kidding me, said Hijikata. You think they'll give a shit about a title you got from the old shogun? You go out there, you're signing your death warrant. You really think I'll just let you do that? Look, I'm a fury now. So long as they don't shoot me through the heart, I'll be fine. No matter what Hijikata said, Kondou's expression didn't change. He only gazed back at him, his expression cool and placid. I've made my decision, said Kondou. Nothing you say can convince me otherwise. Hijikata began to shake. In all the time I'd been with the Shinsengumi, I'd never seen Hijikata and Kondou act like this before. Usually it was Hijikata who kept a cool head and Kondou who succumbed to his emotions. But this time... "No, no," shouted Hijikata. "What the hell's the Shinsengumi going to do without its chief? You're coming with me, even if I have to knock you out and drag you. You have a responsibility to the Shinsengumi. You don't get to die and run away from that." Hijikata was screaming at Kondou, his white-knuckled fists gripping the front of the other man's kimono and his eyes red with held-back tears. But his fury and pleas broke across Kondou's impassable calm like so much wind against a mountain. "This is a direct order," said Kondou. "You will go to Ichikawa to meet with the rest of our men, and Yukimura and Shimada will go with you." Hijikata stumbled back a step, shocked by the force of Kondou's voice. "You're going to tell me what to do? What the hell is this?" His eyes were still dry, but his voice trembled. "Aren't your chief's orders absolute?" asked Kondou. "You've ordered plenty of men to kill themselves or become furies from disobeying that rule, but you are somehow an exception. Is that the sort of warrior you want to be?" asked Kondou. Hijikata said nothing. As long as he'd been commander, Hijikata had strove to lead by example. He had lived by the code and demanded that others do likewise, so that the Shinsengumi might have true samurai. No doubt Kondou had counted on that fact. He meant to use it to keep Hijikata alive. "Shimada, Yukimura, I want you to leave with Toshi. If you take too long, they'll attack and my surrender will have meant nothing," said Kondou. He gave Shimada and me a little shove to get us moving. Shimada turned to look at Hijikata. For a moment he said nothing. "Commander, let's go," said Shimada finally. Hijikata didn't move. He only stood chewing at his lip until Kondou laid his hands on his friend's shoulders and gave him a warm smile. "Hey, Toshi, let it go. Let me go. You've run yourself ragged trying to earn me the status and fame that I wanted. You even turned yourself into a fury. It kills me to see you do all these things for me. I'm not worth it," said Kondou. Hijikata didn't look up. He blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears, and stared desperately at the floor. Then he swallowed, and when he spoke his voice was tight and strained. If I do this, then what have I been fighting for all these years? I became a warrior, served our country, I won battles and killed men, all because I thought you'd be there at the end to celebrate with us." He sounded just like Kondou had after the battle at Kofu Castle. "I'm sorry," said Kondou. "I brought you here. I did this to you. When I think about it now, it was all sort of a dream. We weren't real samurai, but we strapped on our swords and went to work for the imperial court." His voice was warm, but it seemed that very kindness made it even harder for Hijikata. He took a deep breath and squeezed his eyes shut, willing the tears to go away. The room was silent for a few long moments before he finally spoke. "Shimada, send a message to our remaining men," said Hijikata. "We need to secure an escape route." "Yes, sir," said Shimada. "Chizuru, stay here. Once we're ready, I'll come get you." "All right." With that, Hijikata and Shimada left, and Kondou and I were alone. He reached into his kimono and pulled something out. "Yukimura, take this with you." He handed me a small cloth bag. It clinked as he laid it in my hand. "What is it?" "Money to help you escape. I wasn't able to do anything for you. This is a token of my appreciation for all you've done for us. Please take it." How could he be so kind when his situation was so grim? His warmth still lingered on the bag as I took it. I felt a lump rise in my throat. "You still have time," said Kondou. "I'll tell Toshi once you get away. Go somewhere safe and look for Dr. Matsumoto. I don't think they'd do anything too bad to a girl like you. Just forget you ever had anything to do with us. Marry a man you love and live a peaceful life. Find happiness." What should I say? Here's my choice. Either I want to go with Hijikata or convince Kondou to escape. And I think this one should be pretty obvious. I'm obviously, or rather Chizuru is obviously sticking with Hijikata. She's attached to him like through an umbilical cord. I shook my head. "No, I won't run. I want to go with Hijikata. I'm his page." I bit my lip, afraid that if I said any more, I might cry. Instead, I looked up at Kondou and did my best to smile. His eyes were warm as he looked down at me. "I see. Toshi's been blessed with some great friends, hasn't he? I'll be counting on you then. Take care of him for me." I tried to respond, but the lump in my throat made any sort of speech impossible. Eventually, Hijikata and Shimada returned and we left the Kaneko mansion. I looked back over my shoulder many times as we ran, thinking about how soon now Kondou would be surrendering to his enemies. Perhaps I thought to myself time and again, if we turn back now, we can still rescue him. There have to be ways all four of us can escape. Shimada seemed to feel the same way, but Hijikata never once turned to look back.
三国志演義に清少期に、まあ、軍記物の小説ばかりだな。